Welcome back, everyone. So now we're looking at taxes and tips. So David is buying some cheese. He's getting $14 worth of cheese, and he's got 8% to pay on tax. What's the total price? Well, there's two ways you can go about this. One is to switch that 8%. Well, either way, I guess. We want to switch that 8% over to a decimal. Grab my pen here. So 8%, if I move the decimal left two places, remember, it's going to be 0.08. If we just had 0.8, that would be 80%. That is a huge tax, right? That's almost the whole thing, 80%. This is 8%. It's less than, it's like having 8 cents compared to 80 cents, like in a dollar. It's different. So 8% is going to be the decimal we're working with. And you could just take 14 and multiply it by 0.08. If you did that, if you just multiply these two numbers together, that will tell you the amount of money he has to pay in tax. Once you find that amount, you can add it on to 14, and that would be your answer. So you could find the amount of tax, add it on to 14, and that'll be the total amount. But the other thing I want you to consider is putting tax on something is pretty much just another way of increasing its price. So like we looked at the last section, you can add that on to 1, and that shows you the percent increase. That tells you the amount after an increase. So if instead of 0.08, I use 1.08 to multiply with 14, that'll automatically add the totals together and tell you what the total price is. And if you think about it mathematically for a second, multiplying 14 by 1 gives you the 14 plus the 14 times the 0.08, right? Like you could break this apart into 1 and 0.08. 1 plus 0.08 is 1.08, right? 1.08. So essentially, by putting that 1 on there, you're automatically adding the 14 back on so that you don't have to do it in a separate step. So that's what I would recommend as you go through this. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. 14 times 1.08 will be $15.12. What he pays for his cheese. Better be some good cheese. All right, let's do one more and see. Yeah, we get a tip. Sweet. So Aubrey's dinner cost $85. She tips the wait staff 30% for excellent service. How much does Aubrey tip the wait staff? Okay, so be careful here. Where the last problem was asking for the total amount, so I could use that 1 point whatever. Here, I don't want the total. I just want to know the tip amount, how much she's going to leave as a tip. So here, I would definitely want to just use the 0.30 or 0.3. Right, so you're just going to do 85 times 0.3, 0.30, whatever, and that will tell you the amount of money she leaves as a tip. If we did 1.3, that would tell you the total expense for the whole meal, the $85 plus the tip, if I put a 1 in front of there. But that's not what the problem asks for. It just wants to know how much the tip is. So I'll just take 85 times 0.03 or 0.3. 85 times 0.3 is old. I still had the 14 from the last problem. 85 times 0.3. Yeah, it's a $25.50 tip. Woo! You better gave her a foot massage or something. That's $25.50. All right. You don't need the last zero here, but whenever it's money, I tend to put it. So, All right, maybe one more because that was pretty easy. Bar groceries paid $1.60 in sales tax. Sales tax, blah. How much is the price of the groceries? Good, because this one's different. So first off, we have a decimal and a percent. So remember, you always move the decimal left two places. Right, so you're going to have 0.025. If you just do 0.25, that's 25%. That's not what we have here. We have 0.025. Go away. There. 0.025 is 2.5%. Now, we end up getting $1.60 in tax. So really the question is, how much were the groceries that I multiply with that tax percentage to end up getting $1.60? Right? It tells us the tax percentage, and it tells us how much we paid for taxes. But normally, the way you would find that $1.60 is by multiplying the cost of the groceries by the tax, kind of like what we just did on the last problem. We took the percent for the tip times the meal's cost in order to find how much they left for the tip. So normally you multiply them, but if you only have the percentage and what that percent gets you, like that's the tax rate, and so that tells you the amount of tax, and we have to work backwards to find the groceries. Here we're actually going to divide. We're kind of solving. We're working backwards. Divide both sides by 0.025. So that on this side it cancels and leaves you G. And on this side, we have to do 1.6 divided by 1.6 divided by 0.025. 64. So if we spent $64 on groceries and the tax was only 2.5%, which is way lower than most states, you would only pay $1.60 in tax. All right. Make sure I typed all that in right. 0.025. $1.60. Yep. Dividing. Yep. That just seems off, but that's it right there. All right. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Do take your time to set up the equations like that. I know it's annoying writing equations, but getting used to finding those relationships and finding patterns will make this much, much easier to get a handle on and to get good at doing. So, let me know if you need help.